NBA, Draft Underdog becomes basketball's ultimate lockdown star. Episode 91. When Curry learned that he had been traded, he was a little overwhelmed. He came to the Warriors to play less than a season, and his performance was okay. How did you trade yourself? For David Lee, is it just the meaning of the Knicks, or the meaning of the Warriors? The UAE was not surprised to learn that he had been traded. The general manager of the team has said before that all players on the team could be traded. However, to his surprise, he was actually traded to the Knicks. The other day, I just played with the Knicks, ate with Lin Dong. As a result, he and Lin Dong have now become teammates. Maybe, that's not bad. On the other side of the world, Zhuang TV learned the news. They are also ignorant. Why did you suddenly make a trade? UAE and Lin Dong a team? The Day Sports News featured the deal. For now, the Knicks are the home team of Siagwa fans, which is not excessive. Zhuang TV station also made a decision immediately. Later NBA live broadcasts will mainly broadcast Knicks games. The next day, Lin Dong had just woken up. When I open my phone, I see dozens of text messages and dozens of missed calls on my phone. He opened the missed call and saw Mills' name on it, so he was immediately given back. General manager, what's wrong? I slept too hard yesterday. Lin Dong, you open the sports news now and take a look. There is good news for you. Good news? Lin Dong immediately sat down in front of the computer and turned on the sports news. As soon as you open the page, you will see a series of eye-catching headings. The Knicks made 3 big deals, sending David Lee, Chandler, and Harrington. Get Curry, UAE, Dior. Aren't these the 3 players I suggested earlier? Yes, I discussed with the coach that these 3 players are very suitable for our next team building, so we completed these few deals during the All-Star days. Okay, so when are they coming? Do I mean new teammates? Today, it should all be there, and tomorrow they will come back to the team to report and sign a contract. Okay, I'll call Shui now. Lin Dong hung up the phone. He never answered the call and found D'Antoni's name. After making a phone call, Lin Dong and D'Antoni made an appointment to meet. The location is in Mills' office. An hour later, Lin Dong arrived at the general manager's office. Mills and D'Antoni have all arrived. Coach, general manager Lin Dong greeted them. Both of them were sitting on the sofa, and Lin Dong also sat down. Shui, trade the 3 of them at the same time. Are you ready to bombard? D'Antoni smiled and narrowed his eyes. Yes, when you told Mills these 3 names, you probably wanted to bombard them too, right? Lin Dong nodded, glanced at Mills, and then continued. I think the future development of basketball will develop in the direction of small ball, and the offensive pace will be faster. The 3-point shot is going to be a major way to score, so it's important to open up as much space as possible on the court. Of course, defense is important in any era. Lin Dong directly moved out the system of the later Warriors. In the future era, I don't know much, but I know that shelling is definitely the best system for attack. Next, the 3 talked a lot about the future of the team. Such a thing, there should not be players involved. But Lin Dong is already the core of their team, and Lin Dong's understanding of basketball far exceeds their expectations. In the afternoon, Curry, Dior, and the UAE arrived in New York one after another. In order to show sincerity, Lin Dong personally went to pick up the airport one by one, let their originally depressed mood suddenly disappear. The next day, the 3 attended the team's press conference. Officially signed 3 people, and the Knicks starting 5 Tigers are also determined. Curry, Lin Dong, Gallinari, UAE, Dior. All 5 have shooting threats on the court, and Curry, Lin Dong, and Dior all have the ability to pass the ball. It will be the best offensive team. However, the media is not very optimistic about them, so the team's game is attracting much attention. Host the Denver Nuggets. Because the time is very tight, after all the signing is over, D'Antoni immediately started training with them, including the core questions of tactics. They also all instilled in their minds. When they heard this offensive system, all 3 were shocked. It turns out that you can still fight like this? Of course, the core of this team is Lin Dong. Match day. Home of the Knicks, Madison Gardens is already full of fans. At the same time, a lot of journalists came. Regardless of the first appearance of the Knicks' new lineup, or the counterpoint between Lin Dong and Anthony, all make this game full of highlights. Of course, Siagwa Zhuang TV also broadcast the game live. Inside the Nuggets locker room, the atmosphere of the team is very relaxed. Nene said, you say, it's better for us to end the battle in this few quarters? Billups said, don't underestimate the enemy, they are not weak now, but they have just won 7 in a row. Anthony put his hands on Billups' shoulders and laughed. Brother, you don't have to be too careful. A lineup like the Knicks, aren't we still beating them? Maybe it's over and we'll be able to rest, hahaha. Even the Knicks at the time of the previous 7-game winning streak, Anthony did not pay attention to it. Now the Knicks have made such a big deal. Anthony looked down on the Knicks even more. Now his expectation for this game is to experience Lin Dong's defense. Wade blew Lin Dong's defense to the top. At the same time, Lin Dong's defensive data and defensive efficiency are very high. This made him, an offensive kaleidoscope, feel challenged. The next team atmosphere, the atmosphere is still very relaxed. Everyone except Billups thought it was a game that would end easily. The venue was packed. Live commentary begins to warm up for the game. The new Knicks host the Denver Nuggets. Who is the better offense? 7 wins in a row meets 5 in a row, and there is always a team's winning streak to end. Attacking the kaleidoscope Anthony, encountering death entangled Lin Dong, the conflict dispute, who will get this battle? Episode 92. Turning back, the Nuggets attacked. Hit Anthony again. The catch is initiated directly from the left-hand side. Gallinari was clinging tightly. Suddenly, Anthony took a step back and opened the distance between him and the defender. Showed a standard jumper. The basketball hollow fell into the net. Anthony stepped backwards as he watched Gallinari shake his head, full of provocations. Gallinari was naturally unhappy in the face of provocation. At this time, a man behind him came over and patted his butt. Good defense. He turned his head and saw Lin Dong standing behind him. Immediately, the expression on his face turned to disinterest. I know that the next goal will definitely not let him score so easily. Gallinari during this time, because he always fought bulls with Lin Dong. Lin Dong also often gives him his defensive skills. Although it is not long, his defense has improved a lot with the naked eye. But it is impossible to completely prevent Anthony. I can't even do it myself. It was the Knicks' turn to attack again. Curry holds the ball at the top of the arc, and the UAE to block the demolition. After the UAE withdrew beyond the three-point line, Martin did not choose to follow, but extended his hand to the UAE, while worrying about the inside. Curry passed the ball to the UAE, who decisively shot a straight three-pointer. He already had a good three-point shot. But in this day and age, there are too few inside players who shoot threes. The most famous Nowitzki. Even stars like him are still scolded as soft eggs. Don't talk about the UAE. So the UAE forced himself more to hit the basket and use his body to score. Unexpectedly, after coming to the Knicks, D'Antoni and Curry were very supportive of shooting three-pointers, and emphasized that as long as there is a chance to shoot, you will shoot resolutely. Don't worry too much, even if there are many opportunities, don't bother. The basketball's parabola was high and streaked over Martin's head, fell into the basket under everyone's gaze. Cast beautifully. D'Antoni shouted from the sidelines, clapping vigorously. The scene cheered again. UAE made three-point shots and shot very decisively. He is an interior player with three-point shooting, but he didn't expect it to come so quickly. 3 Knicks players shot three-pointers in the opening game, and it seems that they have a good hand today. That's probably what they did in the first place. They wanted to build a shooting team. So far, the effect is not bad. 2 commentators on the spot, analyzing the game. At the same time, Nuggets coach George Karr is also thinking about the form on the court. Shooting brigade? Kind of interesting. Although the Nuggets were behind at this time, he was not worried at all. He believes in the team's scoring ability, and he doesn't believe the Knicks can keep that feel. The big guy shoots 3 points. It's really a soft egg. Do you think you can always shoot? In his opinion, the big man's ability to shoot 3 points is all a matter of luck. It is impossible to hit the inside, so it will choose to retreat outside the three-point line. The Nuggets attacked, and Anthony attacked again. He just wanted to burst Gallinari and let Lin Dong defend himself. But he found that Gallinari was not that good to play either, and every time, Gallinari was always able to block his own offensive line. If you don't do more feints, use your upper body. He also doesn't get shots. After the breakthrough was fruitless, Anthony hit Gallinari on his back. A difficult rear turn and tough shot. Swish. The basketball also fell into the basket. Anthony's jump shot is really picturesque. Gallinari has defended well, but he still can't prevent it. This is a superstar. The Nuggets also scored the ball again, and the two teams played back and forth, but the Nuggets played superstar basketball and the Knicks played sharing basketball. Back to the Knicks offensive again. Once again, the opportunity is here with the UAE. Martin hesitated and once again did not choose to pounce. The UAE still made a decisive move. Swish. The second personal three-pointer of the game, and the Knicks' fourth three-point opening three-pointer. Martin's face was a little ugly, and he looked at the head coach Karl. Karl's face showed no reaction and nodded at him. He didn't think Martin was wrong with the goal. It's just that the UAE is too lucky. So the next defense is still so chosen. But on the next goal, the UAE scored its third three-point shot of the game. Karl kind of sensed something was wrong. A pause was shouted. Wow. The UAE opened with a blast, hitting 3 consecutive three-pointers to stop the Nuggets. The Nuggets' defense is resolute, so the UAE's 3 shots are almost all open shots. I don't know if Coach Karl will change his defensive strategy. If you keep shooting like this, the game will be played in the first quarter. I didn't expect that the 3 points of the UAE league were so accurate. Martin walked off the field and kept looking at Karl, waiting for Karl to give him new instructions. Karl sighed, patted Martin on the shoulder and said, "The defense is good, but this player seems to be shooting 3 points well. So wait for the defense to change, put a little pressure on him, can't let him shoot so easily." Good. Martin nodded, and when the UAE scored his second goal, he wanted to pounce. But the coach's pre-game arrangement was to protect the box and protect the rebound. All he didn't dare to come out, but he didn't expect that the UAE scored 3 consecutive three-pointers. Where can this stand it? Now that the coach has made clear his new defensive strategy, he is relieved. The Nuggets missed a shot after a single shot. It was the Knicks' turn to offense again. Teammates are still looking for the UAE. The UAE league, which scored 3 consecutive points, was also bursting with confidence at this time. Even though Martin had put him under defensive pressure, he was determined to shoot. Swish. Fourth three-pointer. The Knicks scored 6 straight three-pointers in the opening game. The fans went crazy. This UAE is powerful. This can also enter. This is the fourth three-pointer. No wonder the team wants to use Chandler instead of trading him. It turns out that he is so good. If you go on like this, I'm afraid you're going to break the record if the first game is record-breaking. It would be too exaggerated. Are all Seogwa players so powerful? At this point, Carl's emotions exploded, shouting at the field, "Martin, hold on to him, can't let him vote anymore." The UAE has gone beyond Carl's realization. To say to vote for 1 or 2, it is luck. But 3 or 4, it's not normal, it's no longer dribbling, it's strength. Moreover, against the defender, you can also shoot. That's a bit outrageous. Martin would care, and he himself was a little broken. What kind of weirdo am I guarding against? Episode 94. Afrero made a three-pointer for the Nuggets, chased the difference to 7-18, trailing by 11 points. Once again, it's the Knicks' offensive round. This time, Martin defended the UAE very tightly. Yes, it's hard for the UAE to get shots. However, Lin Dong gave the UAE a cover and gave it a chance to catch the ball. Martin bypassed Lin Dong's cover and faced the UAE again. The UAE made another shooting move. Martin, who was already trembling at this time, pounced without hesitation. As a result, it was a feint. UAE United holds the ball to the inside and goes straight to the layup. However, the shot was interfered with by the inside. However, the UAE took a second jump and snatched the ball from the crowd. However, there are no good shooting opportunities. The ball could only be passed and Curry received the ball. One step across luck is also a three-point shot. File. But basketball hit the front of the basket. Nene jumped up to grab the rebound. However, suddenly a long arm took control of the basketball first. With a snap, the UAE grabbed the ball with one hand and quickly closed it between the two hands. Then he raised his head and passed the ball to Curry again. Curry made another three-point shot. Swish. This time, the basketball landed firmly into the basket. The Knicks hit their 7th three-point shot of the game. The difference returned to 14 points, 7-21. Nennet looked at the back of the UAE and was shocked. How did this Seogwaist jump so high? When did he appear in this position? The previous consecutive 3 points made Nene think that the United were just a three-point shooter, but the rebound just now was far beyond his expectations. Such physical fitness and bouncing ability are completely beyond his imagination. The Knicks hit the 7th three-point shot of the game. It's raining 3 minutes in Madison Garden, which is blowing the momentum of the Nuggets. Curry's three-point shooting decisiveness. What surprised me even more was the front court rebound of the UAE. He snatched this rebound from Nene's hand. It was amazing. Maybe we all had some misunderstandings about the UAE before. We didn't see his real ability. This game is known. He is not a soft egg. The on-site commentary was already surprised to be a little out of his mouth. I thought that in this game, the Nuggets would hang the Knicks up and play, but now the result is the complete opposite, and the Nuggets are somewhat overwhelmed by the Knicks' offense. Carl frowned. Things didn't go as he expected. In the defensive deployment he started, the UAE was a point that did not need to be paid too much attention to. However, the sudden outburst has disrupted his defensive layout, messed up his rhythm. He now doesn't know what to do with the UAE. Billups called his teammates together. Be positive, teammates are not as simple as we think. Rebounds must be snatched. When defending, the speed under the feet is faster. The game is only the first quarter. We have a chance. Come on. Get excited. With Billups emotionally mobilized, the Nuggets players regained their fighting spirit. This Nuggets team, the boss on the surface is Anthony, but the actual core is Billups. Billups is a qualified leader who can mobilize the emotions of his teammates. It can also control the offensive rhythm on the pitch. Before Billups came to the Nuggets, they played with 2 guns. Anthony's and Iverson's offensive combination. Although the attack is gorgeous and the popularity is high, the team's results are not very good. Until the arrival of Billups, this Nugget was reborn. As a powerful man in the West, he can also rank among the best in the highly competitive West. The game continues. Billups dribbled through the halfway and began to organize the team's attack. Anthony took cover and came out of the bottom line. Billups passed the ball immediately. The latter catches the ball and shoots 3 points. Swish. The Nuggets' second three-pointer. The goal scored and the morale of the team was lifted again. With 3 fingers, Anthony pointed to his head, let out a low roar. It seems that with this ball again, it will announce the return of the Nuggets. On the defensive end, the Nuggets' overall defense has moved up a notch. No more carelessness in the opening, but one by one, they were clinging to the defenders, and even Afrero, who had the worst defense, followed Lin Dong closely. Don't let Lin Dong have the opportunity to catch the ball easily. In the end, Gallinari's one missed layup ended the offense. As soon as he grabbed the rebound, Nene quickly passed the ball to Billups. The latter moves forward quickly. Coming outside the three-point line, he suddenly stopped, as if to wait for his teammates to land. But as soon as it stopped, it suddenly started again, past the defenders, broke through to the basket, faced the UAE defense, and threw the ball to the basket. Martin arrived and jumped high. He caught the ball with both hands and slammed it into the basket. The Nuggets seem to be on the rise. Both offense and defense are working. This dunk is domineering and well coordinated. Next round, after the Nuggets increased their intensity, the Knicks' offense was no longer as efficient. And the Nuggets under the organization of Billups, the offense is also smoother. After Anthony forced Gallinari a goal, the difference between the two sides reached 4 points. At 21-25, the Knicks were still leading. After the Nuggets stepped up their defense, the Knicks were no longer magical, and the gap between the two sides was further narrowed. Anthony has scored 10 points, the feel is good, and Gallinari, although he defends well every time, still can't limit Anthony. The race seems to be back on track as expected. The Knicks have to do something now, otherwise the Nuggets will be hard to hold on when they gain momentum. Lin Dong crossed his waist with both hands and looked at the scoreboard. There are 3 minutes left in the first quarter. In the previous game, he has been assisting his teammates. Let your teammates finish and find confidence. But the current situation seems a little bad. He blew on his breath and got back into the game. Knicks possession of the ball. Lin Dong took the initiative to run to the top of the arc to ask for the ball. In the face of JR, Lin Dong is very confident. Although JR's offense is good, defense has always been his weakness. Lin Dong kept dribbling the ball in his crotch. It is strictly forbidden to observe the position of your teammates through the afterlight. Suddenly it started violently. Then he stopped abruptly, at the free throw line, followed by a combined shot. JR tried hard to cap. However, Lin Dong added a real pass and passed the ball to the empty Curry. The latter hit a layup and a rebound. Back to defense, Lin Dong entered Gallinari's side in the process of returning to defense. He whispered, "I'll guard against Anthony." Gallinari was stunned for a moment, then nodded. Although his defense has improved, he is still much worse than Lin Dong. Lin Dong began to ask to actively defend Anthony, and at this moment, the Nuggets offense was about to stall. Episode 95. Anthony ran to the front court and found that the man defending himself changed from Gallinari to Lin Dong. Suddenly scrappy. Start asking for the ball immediately. Receiving the ball, he looked at Lin Dong. "I heard that your defense is very strong. Let me see it." Lin Dong hunched over and pressed his center of gravity very low. With a confident smile, he said, "As you wish." The confrontation between Anthony and Lin Dong was the biggest attraction of this game. As soon as they saw that the two finally matched, the fans at the scene were excited. There was a thunderous noise. The live commentary is also emotional. Finally right. The trump card of both teams, Lin Dong's death entanglement, in the face of the attack kaleidoscope Anthony, can it still play a role? Anthony's previous feel is good, I'm afraid it's a little difficult to prevent. Anthony's best offensive tool is the change after the 3 threats. Therefore, on the one hand, he does not let go of the ball easily, and likes to shake the defender's center of gravity through feints. For observing the center of gravity of defenders, this is Anthony's specialty. As long as the defender has a moment of slack, or the center of gravity shifts, Anthony immediately seized the opportunity and responded. Anthony holds the ball in both hands and uses one foot as the pivot foot. He first made an offensive tentative move, and Lin Dong moved his ipsilateral foot slightly. Anthony made another offensive probing move, and Lin Dong remained the same. Anthony suddenly felt a sense of powerlessness, as if it was not a person who defended him, but a puddle of water. No emotion, no fluctuations. There are no waves, moving with their movements, but wrapping their whole body. So, Anthony stopped tempting and directly stepped through on the ground, but Lin Dong seemed to be attached to him, retreating with his steps, but he was completely within Lin Dong's defense. Once in the box, Anthony was ready for a layup, but at this time, Lin Dong suddenly jumped up. From the side, a large hand completely covers the basketball. Splitting the head and covering the face is the most suitable description. Anthony picked up the covered basketball and prepared to get strong again. He made a couple of shooting feints, but Lin Dong didn't eat it. Just when Anthony was getting stronger again, Lin Dong's big hand once again covered the basketball, and the basketball ended up falling on Anthony's body out of bounds. Beep. The referee blew a whistle and pointed his arm at the back. Consecutive blocks also acquired the ball. All of a sudden, it directly pushed the atmosphere in the front court to a climax. Awesome. Cover Anthony twice, and I want to ask who else? See? Lin Dong directly took the Anthony hat out of bounds. That's awesome. This is Lin Dong's defense. Whoever wants to single Lin Dong is the result of only eating hats. Lin Dong didn't make a move before. Did you think Lin Dong couldn't prevent you? Give you a big hat and let you know what it means to know what is called unsolvable. The live commentary was also shocked by this defense. Couldn't stop shaking his head. I don't know what to say anymore. Lin Dong is the strongest defender I've ever seen. Anthony looks too embarrassed. 2 consecutive hats. Can it be more brutal? Lin Dong is a practical action to prove that there is only one result of challenging himself, that is, eating hot pot. When Anthony heard the decision, he was extremely dissatisfied and complained to the referee. But the referee insisted on his own penalty and ignored Anthony. Anthony could only spread his hands and express his dissatisfaction. He looked at Lin Dong, sighed. This defense allowed him to see Lin Dong's horror. Lin Dong's judgment when defending and the timing of the block are too good. This is no longer something that can be done with effort, but with talent. He's seen a lot of attacking players and he's full of talent. But defensively, talented players, he is rare. It's the Knicks offense round again. Lin Dong still holds the ball by himself. Lin Dong, who had been training with Nash for 3 days, felt very different from before when he was attacking at this time. Now he has a stronger view of the big picture. With the ball in his hand, he always observes the position of his teammates first. Thinking about how to make the offense more efficient, Lin Dong asked the UAE to come over and cover himself. Under cover, he was transported over there, then immediately made the action of shooting. Two defenders jumped at the same time to block. UAE suddenly chose to go down. Lin Dong jumped up and passed the ball to the UAE in the form of a cannonball, a linkage ball, clapped, kicked his legs on the ground, and jumped high. Boom. Because of Dior's containment, there was no defense inside. UAE clasped with both hands. Make a loud noise. UAE. UAE. The ball was scored, and some fans at the scene began to shout the name of the UAE. So far, the performance of the UAE can be described almost impeccably. Three-pointers, dunks, rebounds, you name it. The cooperation with his teammates is also very tacit, and it is completely impossible to see that it is a new team. Lin Dong used to give a high five to the UAE and said, "It's a beautiful buckle." Lian replied in a deep voice, "It's you who passed it beautifully. The buckle is beautiful, and the pass is beautiful." From the cooperation between the two players of Xiaogua, this goal can only be described as amazing. Do you feel that Lin Dong is different? His passing is better, just like a master of control. The control master is a little exaggerated, but compared to before, it is very different, and the threat is stronger. D'Antoni was extremely excited. He knew better than anyone what was different about Lin Dong now. This is the effect of special training. 3 days of training to achieve such an effect. It's terrifying. He expected Lin Dong's passing to improve, but he didn't expect it to rise so fast. Not only did the passing become better, but the grasp of opportunities on the pitch was also better. If you play a little longer, train with Nash for a while, maybe it can turn into an aggressive, more talented Nash. How terrifying a player like that is, he almost can't imagine it. But everything proves how wise he did it. Lin Dong is a player to look forward to. Back to the Nuggets offense. Anthony was not convinced and wanted to challenge Lin Dong again. Although Lin Dongfang is good, who is he? He is Anthony. Anthony dribbled the ball in his crotch, one left and one right. Observe this Lin Dong's footsteps and wait for the opportunity. He is still looking for opportunities, but Lin Dong found an opportunity first. He suddenly stretched out his long arm. Anthony was a little stunned and tried to dodge the dribble, but Lin Dong's long arm had unexpectedly touched the basketball. Then, like a hungry tiger, desperately trying to grab a basketball, Anthony also wanted to control basketball again, but Lin Dong's hand first held the basketball, and the strength was extremely strong, like a big iron tongue. In the midst of the rush, Anthony sat on the ground with his butt. Then Lin Dong picked up the ball and rushed to the front court first. Anthony could only sit on the ground and watch him begin to perform. Episode 96. Lin Dong quickly dribbled the ball and ran to the front court. At the three-point line, he suddenly slowed down. Come to the basket and jump on both feet. Pull the ball out of your right shoulder to your crotch with both hands, while your body spins in the air. When the body is facing away from the basketball is pulled backwards from the bottom to the top. Boom. The curled-up body suddenly unfolded, extremely stretched. Both hands smashed the basketball into the basket, and the stone was shocked. Suddenly, inside the arena, shouts resounded in the sky. It seemed that the next moment, the roof of the stadium was about to be lifted by this scream. Some fans, their eyes widened in disbelief. Some of the fans, cheering and excited. Some fans, twisting their bodies, show this happiness. This dunk is too stretchy and full of power. Lin Dong performed a top 10 ball level dunk for us. Steal Anthony, back dunk, what better ball than this? This scene, Deja Vu, Wade, who was also the 4 heroes of the wind and dust, also experienced this scene, and it was really a difficult brother. I think with this dunk, Lin Dong is fully capable of comparing with teammate Nate, who is the dunk king. Hearing the live commentary, Nate laughed. At the same time, the camera was pointed at him. Nate pointed at Lin Dong, and then gave a thumbs up to the camera. Haha. Nate seems to be saying that Lin Dong is a little stronger. In this year's dunk game, Nate won the championship again, and next year, Lin Dong can try it. Let's compete in the same field. The higher the atmosphere of the scene, in contrast, the more lonely Anthony became. Just now, he was still scrappy and vowed to fight with Lin Dong. As a result, he gave himself 2 blocks in 1 round, and he directly tackled himself in 1 round. He had to admit that he couldn't break through Lin Dong's defense. If he faced Lin Dong again, there was already a little resistance in his heart. He was now able to understand Wade's psychology. Wade was also embarrassed by Lin Dong's defense, but he did not say that it was caused by his contempt for his opponent or other reasons. Wade's rhetoric is that Lin Dong's defense is too strong. Billups came over and pulled up Anthony. With one hand on the back of Anthony's head, he said in an enthusiastic tone, "Just fight like this. You are Anthony. You are not even afraid of James Bryant. Will you still be afraid of him?" Anthony jerked his head up, the corners of his mouth hooked, confidently said, "When did I say I was afraid? I'm just tired, sit on the ground and burst them later." Billups nodded, "Just do it, man." The Knicks bench is still in joy. They knew that Lin Dong's physical fitness was good, but they had never seen Lin Dong dunk like this. That's awesome. This dunk is definitely the top 5 of today. Compared to a dunk, the front steal is more exciting, which is to grab this ball from Anthony's hand, and Anthony has nothing to do. I can feel this feeling of Anthony. Every time I fight with Lin Dong, it's like this, it's very helpless. Curry put his hands in his waist and gritted his braces, looking at Lin Dong. To be honest, he was envious. His 3 points are good, but in fact, He has always had a dunk dream in his heart. He also wanted to dunk during the game, but the bounce limited him. He can only dunk, and sometimes in practice, he fails to dunk. Lin Dong returned to the backcourt, saw Curry's expression, and deliberately said to Curry, "It's cool to shoot a three-point dunk." Curry smiled awkwardly on his face, and complained in his heart, "I believe you are a ghost." Because of Lin Dong's continuous individual performances, the morale of the team was restored. Next, Lin Dong played the role of a commander on the field. At the same time, it is also the Knicks' first line of defense. Defensively, he single-handedly defended Anthony. On the offensive end, he directs at the top of the arc and directs the running positions of his teammates. Then pass the ball to where it should be as soon as it should. The teammates are also very good and can always throw the ball whenever there is an opportunity. However, the Nuggets are indeed a strong team. Disciplined, always maintaining its own rhythm, regardless of form. At the same time, the bench lineup is deep. When the main player is off the field, he can always bite the score and even play a wave of climax. It's 3 minutes before the end. The Knicks led the Nuggets by 1 point at 96-95. At this time, Lin Dong had scored 23 points and 9 assists, setting a new career high for assists. Lin Dong controlled the ball at the top of the arc and called out to Curry. The hand passed the ball to Curry. Curry also made 5 three-pointers in this game and was a great threat from beyond the three-point line. After the pass, he directly covered Curry. Curry got it. Using cover, he quickly withdrew to an empty position, attracting 2 defenders at the same time. Curry then hit the ground and passed the ball to Lin Dong, who was down. Lin Dong received the ball, took a bully step, and strode towards the basket. Seeing this, NEI made up his mind that this goal must not be scored by Lin Dong, so he wanted to step forward and seal it. However, Lin Dong faked a real pass and threw the ball high to the basket. Nene hurriedly turned around. I only saw the UAE behind him jumping high, catching Lin Dong's pass, and smashing his hand. The score came to 98-95. Episode 97. The score came to 98-95. The race entered its final decisive moment. Lin Dong's assists reached 10 tonight, setting a new career high and getting a double-double for the first time. The Nuggets have to respond. With the last 2 minutes and 50 seconds left in the game, the atmosphere of the scene suddenly quieted down. Neither coach called a timeout, leaving the players to play on the field on their own. At this time, it is a competition between the core players of the two teams. Billups held the ball at the top of the arc, raised a hand, and shouted at his teammates, "Organize the offensive." And the fans at the scene shouted spontaneously, uniformly, and rhythmically at the moment, "Defend! Defend!" Every player on the pitch is extremely focused. In this game, both teams are extremely favorable. 7 wins on one side and 5 wins on the other. No one wants their winning streak to end. JR slipped out of the line and Billups passed the ball. Gallinari immediately pasted it. Without a chance to shoot, JR made 2 crotches, threw a disguised one, forced Gallinari. But Gallinari's position is good, and with his already more dominant height, JR still hasn't created good shooting opportunities. JR can only split the ball again. Anthony catches the ball and also starts immediately. The free throw line suddenly retreated, but was quickly pasted by Lin Dong. Anthony did not opt for a strong shot. It's all about stopping the ball and continuing to look for teammates. Seeing Billups at the top of the arc, he resolutely passed the ball. Billups, who received the ball, did not linger for a moment, and the ball was passed straight into the bottom corner. JR got a relatively good shot because of the inside blocking. Catch the ball without hesitation and shoot 3-point shots. The basketball had a high arc top and ended up bouncing on the basket, or fall into the basket. 98-98. The two sides are tied. JR's three-pointer was really a lifesaver and helped the Knicks get the score back to the same line again. The Knicks have defended well enough to defend almost until the end, but better than Loops, and JR is unreasonable, and there is no way around it. I was already feeling extreme tension and my palms were sweating. At this time, the commentary is also rarely spoken. Only after the round of offense will some comments be made. Many of the fans clenched their fists. Look at the stadium or on the big screen. The expression is serious, and even the breathing is cautious. The head coaches of both teams were now clasping their hands around their chests, their expressions frozen. It was the Knicks' turn to attack the round. Curry dribbled through the half. Lin Dong stepped forward to catch the ball. Defending him was Anthony. In terms of height and strength, the Nuggets can best face Lin Dong as Anthony. Lin Dong watched his teammates running positions while looking at the timer. Suddenly, the foot starts. Right side breakout. However, Anthony was close to Lin Dong the whole time, using his own body to try his best to interfere with Lin Dong. Suddenly, Lin Dong stopped sharply, and with his back to Anthony, he turned his head to look at his teammates. Anthony stopped. However, Lin Dong suddenly turned forward and suddenly started. At this moment, Anthony did not have time to react. It was cleaned by Lin Dong. Lin Dong made 2 dribbles when the Nuggets players came down to the defense. Emergency stop mid-range shot. The body also leans back a little. Boom. But the basketball hit the neck of the basket and bounced out. The inside players of the two teams jumped up at the same time and competed for rebounds. Nene is in the rebounding advantage because of the better position card. Just when he was about to touch basketball, Lin Dong seemed to have a spring under his feet and burst out. Grabbed the rebound for the first moment. As soon as it landed, it catapulted again. From between the defender's arms, the ball is dunked into the basket with one hand. Nene gasped and looked at this Yagwa player in shock. Such a bounce speed, even himself, is a shame for himself. Lin Dong was like a god. He threw himself into the basket, and then dunked the basketball into the basket. I don't know how Lin Dong did it. He was able to grab this offensive rebound from the Nuggets inside line, and then dunk the ball in. I'm running out of words. I don't know how to describe this ball. Awesome is enough. All the other compliments seem powerless. The live commentator saw the ball, slammed the table, and clapped his hands. When I was explaining, I still kept saying my god and other exclamations from time to time. D'Antoni shook his fist violently. This ball is so exciting. The fans went into a state of madness. Almost at the same time, the fans all suddenly stood up and raised their hands. Billups ignored these and quickly took the pass from his teammate. Get on the offensive. He has seen such scenes a lot, even the championship he has also won. So at this time, he is calmer than everyone. The more crucial the game, the more important the experience. This is also why the average championship team will have an old player in the team, because the old players have enough experience in the game and have a wide range of experience. No matter what kind of situation, they have encountered it. It can be useful when the team is in a bad situation. Billups is like that. He knows it's home and the Knicks are leading again. The momentum is not on his side at all. So what he has to do now is to show his teammates a sense of confidence, a sense of control, so that the teammates can also calm down. The race continues. Run. Billups shouted at his teammates as he dribbled through the half. Episode 98. See Billups stirring up the emotions of his teammates. Lin Dong also applauded vigorously, turned his head and shouted to his teammates, "Brothers, prevent this ball well." Billups called Anthony to cover him. Anthony came to cover, then quickly took a part and withdrew outside the three-point line. Billups quickly passed the ball to Anthony. Curry is relatively close to Anthony, so he used to change Anthony. Lin Dong defended Billups. Anthony confronted Curry. From the figure, it is almost a crushing situation. Lin Dong wanted to change back, but Billups couldn't put it back. So I can only pray in my heart that Curry can prevent this ball by himself. Anthony made a crotch dribble. When the basketball reaches the left hand, it suddenly starts. Curry was quick on his feet, pasted it, and didn't lose his position. But Anthony's power is so strong that he almost pushes Curry forward. Then Anthony made a tough layup against Curry. Curry was knocked down directly. However, Anthony missed a layup. Beep. The referee's whistle sounds. Defensive foul, 2 free throws. Curry rubbed and got up from the ground. Find the referee theory. There was no foul on this ball. I didn't exert force and I didn't reach out. But the penalty made by the referee will not change. Lin Dong went over to comfort Curry. It's okay, you've already defended it well. Curry explained in frustration, I really didn't foul this ball, and the referee made a mistake. Obviously, Curry was a little angry. He has defended the ball as best he can and defended it cleanly. However, the referee made a mistake in order to make a penalty. At the same time he was frustrated. Because of this goal, it is likely that the Nuggets will catch up with the score. Lin Dong continued to comfort. We still have a chance. It's okay, you did a good job, the rest is left to me. It is normal for referees to misjudge. Many of their penalties are not based on facts. Because of the angle, many balls cannot clearly see whether there is a foul. So sometimes they are based on their experience. That is whether the defender can prevent the ball if he does not foul. As a result of this ball, the referee decided that Curry could not prevent Anthony without fouling. If Curry hadn't fouled, the ball would have been scored. But even knowing that they were wrong does not change the outcome. You can only accept this result and adjust your mentality, and you can't be affected by this goal. Curry sighed, nodded. D'Antoni was also hot-tempered at this time and complained to the referee, but it didn't work. See the reaction of Curry and D'Antoni's. The fans at the scene were also dissatisfied with this time, shouting miscalculation. But the referee remained unmoved, instead instructing Anthony to walk to the free throw line. Lin Dong gestured towards the fans to press down with both hands. Signal the fans to quiet down and accept the fact. Suddenly, all the fans went quiet. His eyes were firmly fixed on the stadium, looking at Lin Dong. At this time, they chose to believe Lin Dong. Anthony executes the penalty. Swish. Swish. 2 free throws. The score was tied again, 100-100. This time, Lin Dong directly dribbled through the half. This one, he wants to play single. Coming to the outside of the three-point line, Lin Dong waved his hands outward. Signal your teammates to pull them all away. The teammates understood and all pulled out to the sides, creating space for Lin Dong to play singles. Lin Dong wants to single Anthony. This ball is quite kingly. In the last goal, Lin Dong singled Anthony successfully, and this goal Anthony will definitely not let Lin Dong score easily. With a minute left before the end of the scene, Lin Dong looked at the timer. At the pressure time, Anthony was also staring at Lin Dong tightly at this time. He has just been scored by Lin Dong, and this goal is determined to be defended. There are still 8 seconds left in the attack. Lin Dong moved. Hold the ball in your right hand and press your right foot on the ground, suddenly directly on the right side of the breakthrough. Anthony raised his hands and followed Lin Dong's footsteps and then retreated. It was so fast that Anthony almost didn't keep up. However, at the free throw line position, Lin Dong suddenly stopped. With the right leg in front, the basketball was dribbled from the step down and to the left hand. Anthony is passive because he is very fierce and passive. So this ball Lin Dong stopped, but he did not stop. Continued to take 2 steps back. Lin Dong opened the vacant seat. Collect the ball and shoot. Swish. Basketball hit steadily. On the timer, the Knicks score changed again to 102-100. The Knicks take the lead again. The stadium, which had been extremely quiet, burst into jubilation. It's so strong. Lin Dong is too strong. Awesome. I knew this goal, he would score. It's too stable. Lin Dong is a superstar. Even the live commentary was infected by this ball. Lin Dong's attack with this ball is too beautiful, completely shaking Anthony. It's just a fight between immortals, and the two teams show their own talents. Who would have thought that Lin Dong's performance was just a rookie who only played 7 games in the NBA? Too strong. So far, Lin Dong's performance is higher than everyone's rank, even Anthony. Tonight is not comparable to Lin Dong. Almost everyone was cheering, including players on the field, but Lin Dong himself was extremely calm. The game is not over yet, it's not time to cheer. Despite the team's lead now, the Nuggets still have a chance. With 42 seconds left in the game, normally both teams have one more chance to attack. This is the reason why Lin Dong just pressed the time. Billups came again, still calling Anthony to block the demolition. As things stand, Anthony singles Curry as the safest way to score. Again the same situation, after changing the defense. The defender in front of Anthony became Curry. Episode 99. The Nuggets are different from the Knicks in that they don't press time. Instead, complete the attack as quickly as possible. That way, even if the ball doesn't score, they can still have a chance to attack. Anthony dribbled the ball in his crotch, paused for a moment, and then jerked it up again. One step past Curry. Because just now all the teammates were pulled apart. So this ball goes in, almost an empty basket. Just as he was about to dunk with both hands, thinking that the ball was bound to score, Lin Dong didn't know when. He came behind him. One arm reaches the front of the basketball. Syllable. The basketball slapped on Lin Dong's hand and made a loud noise. The two were almost frozen in the air for a while. Finally, the two landed at the same time, fell to the ground. Even if they fell to the ground, the first reaction of the two was still basketball. The basketball rolled out of the control of the two under the snatching of the two. Curry saw it and pounced on the basketball for the first time, held in his arms. But Billups was quick to see, and suddenly from the rear, he poked the basketball. Out of control again. Before Curry could get up, he lay on the ground and lunged forward again. Once grabbed a basketball, Billups wanted to grab it even more, and almost the whole person fell on Curry's body. This time the referee blew the whistle, signaled for Billups to foul. Curry sat up, held the ball in his arms with one hand, and waved it vigorously with the other. At the same time, he still roared in his mouth. This goal, he made a contribution and helped the team. D'Antoni was off the court, too, shaking his fists vigorously, expressing the excitement in his heart. This goal is almost invincible, because just grabbing the ball consumes a lot of time. So the rest of the game wasn't as the Nuggets expected. Only 25 seconds remained. But 25 seconds, only enough for one attack. If they want to win, they only have to foul. And pray that the Knicks missed 2 free throws. Lin Dong and Curry, with the help of their teammates, stood up. This goal the Knicks defended too well, and Lin Dong once again showed his excellent defensive ability. Lin Dong directly dominated the game through the last attack and defense. Tonight, Lin Dong is a superstar. Jordan, he can do anything. The commentary was also completely conquered by Lin Dong at this time. Lin Dong's praise has almost reached its peak. Fans have already started celebrating in advance. I could hear my heart beating just now. The game was so intense. Win, Knicks are going to win. Lin Dong is too strong. He directly burst Anthony. Anthony was still sitting on the ground, and his teammates wanted to pull him. He doesn't want to get up yet. Annoyed, he slapped the ground. He didn't expect that he would actually be dropped by Lin Dong's cap. Tonight, he was almost pressed and beaten by Lin Dong. Thinking that this goal, he was going to help the team equalize the score. However, it was Lin Dong who beat him down again. He was too depressed all night. He can't accept that he lost, let alone lose to a rookie. After venting, Anthony stood up on his own. Because the number of fouls has not yet arrived, it is not a free throw yet. The referee stood in the bottom corner and signaled for the Knicks players to come over and serve. UAE walked over and executed the serve. This defense was the Nuggets' last chance. If they can cut the ball directly, they have a chance to score a goal to equalize the score, or even overcome. But if you can't steal, then there are only fouls. The referee passed the ball to the UAE, who held the basketball high and was looking for a teammate. All the other Knicks players started running non-stop, looking for opportunities to catch the ball. But the Nuggets were clinging tightly, almost inseparable. Especially for Lin Dong, it was almost a two-person bag. Lin Dong and Curry staggered away. Lin Dong took Curry's defenders, created a catch-and-catch opportunity for Curry. United quickly passed the ball over. Curry received the ball and immediately rushed to the front court. The steal failed, and the Nuggets had to foul. Billups grabbed Curry and fouled successfully. Curry walked to the free throw line. Curry's free throw shot is 8,832% this season, and sending Curry to the free throw line is equivalent to sending points. But the Nuggets can't help either. Curry hit 2 free throws easily. Knicks 104-100. 100 Nuggets. The Nuggets are now shooting three-pointers and still trailing by 1 point. At this point, Nuggets head coach Karl called a timeout. Layout tactics. Coming back from a timeout, the Nuggets replaced JR with Afrero, who shot better from three-point range. On the field of the Nuggets, there are 3 players who can shoot three-pointers: Billups, Anthony, Afrero. But unsurprisingly, the ball is bound to go to Anthony or Billups. The timeout ended and the Nuggets served in the front court. Martin serves. The Nuggets players quickly scattered and ran away. Anthony gave Afrero a no-ball cover. Afrero came out in his pocket and had already secured a position to catch the ball. However, he did not catch the ball, but quickly ran away. This is a fake catch. The real catcher was Anthony, who gave him cover. Because the Knicks thought Afrero was going to catch the ball, they let their guard down. But who knew that Anthony suddenly ran outside the three-point line, received the ball and prepared to shoot immediately. But at the moment of the shot, a big hand was pressed on the basketball. It's Lin Dong again. Lin Dong guessed that this ball, the Nuggets will play a quick shot. And it was Anthony who executed this shot, so he kept staring at Anthony. The moment Anthony received the ball, he pounced, blocked the shot. Anthony's shot was covered, and he was a little angry, regained control of the basketball, and immediately had to make another strong shot. But this time, Lin Dong's eyes were quick, and he cut the basketball precisely the moment he got the ball, and snatched it down. Anthony had no choice but to foul again. Episode 100. By this time, the Knicks had basically secured the victory. The teammates ran to Lin Dong's side excitedly. Put Lin Dong up. Gallinari hammered Lin Dong's chest and roared. Curry clenched his fists with both hands and continuously hammered Lin Dong's arm. UAE is more reserved, just jumping on the sidelines. Curry and others, before this game starts, it's all holding their breath. The outside world is not optimistic about them and thinks that their transaction is a stupid one. However, this time, they beat the Nuggets, who ranked second in the West. Proved himself with his performance, proved that the perception of those media is wrong. If D'Antoni hadn't been able to enter at this time, he would also want to run into the stadium and pick up Lin Dong. The Nuggets, by contrast, were frustrated. Anthony, in particular, had a gloomy face, couldn't stop shaking his head. For the last goal, he can actually attack without being so anxious. Even if it is blocked by Lin Dong, it can be adjusted before shooting. But at that time, he had already lost his mind. I just wanted to throw this ball quickly, so I gave Lin Dong a chance. The game is basically over, and Lin Dong's final block and cut against Anthony directly dashed the Nuggets' last hopes. I don't know how Lin Dong figured out the Nuggets' tactical arrangement, but he did it. The Nuggets actually had a chance in the end, but Anthony seemed to be competing with Lin Dong, or maybe against himself, and he made the worst choice. We can now congratulate the Knicks in advance on their 8-game winning streak. This brand new Knicks team has given us a lot of surprises, and maybe the Knicks management is doing it right. Maybe. Judging by this one, yes. Lin Dong walked to the free throw line and executed the free throw. Swish. Swish. The same as a full shot of both free throws. At this time, he finally breathed a sigh of relief. Only when the result of the game is completely certain, Lin Dong will relax. The frown stretched. Nuggets serve at the backcourt, but it's not ready to attack either. Wait for the time to run out. Eventually, the time on the timer runs out. The game is over. The Knicks narrowly beat the Nuggets 106-100. Lin Dong had 29 points, 10 assists, 5 rebounds, 4 steals, and 3 blocks. United also had 21 points, 8 rebounds, 2 blocks, and shot 5 of 8 from three-point range. Curry, on the other hand, had 19 points, 7 assists, and shot 4 of 7 from three-point range. Dior had 10 points, 5 assists, and 6 rebounds. Congratulations to the Knicks on their 8-game winning streak, and now they are just 1 win away from the 9th-place team in the East. In this game, Lin Dong seems to have completed another transformation and turned into an all-round master, and his defense is still so fierce. In the confrontation with Anthony, he almost exploded the other side. After the game, Anthony turned his head and walked directly into the dressing room. There is no communication with the opposing player. However, Billups remained calm, hugging the Knicks players one by one, especially when hugging Lin Dong. Carefully looked at this young and old player. This game made him look at this Yagwa player again. Physically gifted, focused on the pitch and high ball intelligence. If nothing else, it may be possible to become the next James. You guys played well tonight, come on, hope to have the chance to meet in the playoffs. Lin Dong smiled. Meet in the playoffs, then it can only be the finals. I hope so too, haha. Karl also paid the price for his pre-match contempt for his opponent. He thinks the same as the outside media, and the Knicks are stupid for these deals. Forming a shooting brigade, isn't that looking for death? As a result, the 3 points of the UAE and Curry directly hit him to a headache, disrupted all the defensive strategies he deployed before the game. If it weren't for Loop's presence, they would have lost this game even worse. After the game, many reporters poured into the Nuggets locker room. Anthony wore a vest and sat back for an interview. May I ask Anthony, you are at a disadvantage in the fight with Lin Dong tonight. What do you think is the reason for this? Anthony gave the questioning reporter a blank look. The cold tone replied, he had good luck tonight, and his teammates were also lucky. So they won the game and that's it. Another reporter asked, then what do you think of Lin Dong as a player, as a senior, What other aspects do you think Lin Dong can continue to improve? Anthony sighed, looking a little impatient. Originally, when he lost the game, he was very irritable. As a result, the reporters also rubbed salt on the wounds one by one. Lin Dong is an amazing player. He scored some key goals and played several successful defenses. As for what advice can be given to him, I don't have it for the time being. But next time they come to Denver, I'll teach him a good lesson.